Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally like to talk a lot of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general, and in this video we're going to be talking about a pick up and deliver game. We're going to be talking about the Wasteland Express Delivery Service, and in this game you'll be running around a Mad Max style landscape. You'll be picking up stuff to drop off somewhere else that will give you the opportunity to fulfill contracts that will allow you to win the game. So in this video I'm going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. I'll be telling you what we do like, don't like. And we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not the Wasteland Express Delivery Service is still worth your time and bother. 6 years after its first release, I can't believe it's been that long. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, will you? Hit the like button, all that YouTube bullshit, and we'll see you after this. Bollocks. Wasteland Express Delivery Service. How'd you play this game? So first thing you're going to do is you're going to get the 16 tiles. You'll put them in a grid system, and then you'll populate the spaces in between with different locations. These might be raider enclaves, or they might be the HQ of the different factions in the game. Most of this game is about moving to a position, doing something at a location, and then moving on. You'll take your dashboard, you'll take your truck miniature, you'll put it on the center space, which is the depot, right? You'll draw 3 contracts. One of them is always the blue screen of death contract, which means that you're going to have to deliver a certain amount of artifacts to a certain location. And the first player to fulfill 3 contracts, whether it's these primary contracts that are available through the private contract system, will be the first player to win the game, right? So on your turn, you'll be able to do a number of things. The main action in this game is moving. If you want to move your truck, you'll move one of your action markers from the available space into the move space. You'll see that there's a 3, 4 and a 5 space. This is the amount of spaces that you can move. If you want to move into an irradiated space, you have to roll the radiation die. If you roll the radiation symbol, then you'll have to take some damage, because you'll be slowly turning into that geezer out of RoboCop. If you move into a space with a raider truck, you can choose to engage with a raider truck, or you can choose to just try and sneak out. If you try and sneak out, you roll the yellow die. If you roll a damage symbol, you'll take a damage. When you take damage, you'll have to put a damage marker over one of the tiles on the truck blueprints on your player board. But if you choose to engage the raider, then you'll go into a round of combat. What you'll do, you roll 2 dice plus any extras. If you've got a machine gun, you'll add 1 damage to the result. And if you've got a missile launcher, then you'll be able to roll an extra die. Depending on what enemy you are fighting, if you're going to fight a raider truck, you'll draw a raider truck card. If you're attacking a raider enclave, then you'll draw, wait for it, a raider enclave card. You have to equal or exceed the strength value on the card. If you don't, you'll take a damage, and if you do, you'll get the resources out the back of the raider truck. And if you're attacking an enclave, then you'll get the resources that's on the card. If you don't stop at a location, you'll look at the tile, you'll see that there is a red, a green or a blue symbol, and that means that you'll be able to move that raider truck to an adjacent space. And this means that you might be able to force an ambush on another player, in which case they'll have to have a round of combat, but they won't get any benefits out of it. So that's a little bit of take that, right? After you've taken your movement action, you can choose to take a secondary action. If you choose not to take a secondary action, then the next time you choose to move, you'll be able to move 4 spaces. And if you choose not to take a secondary action again, then you'll be able to move 5 spaces, right? As soon as you stop and take a secondary action, all of the counters on your movement space go to the use space. And likewise, if you've attacked a raider truck and you take the resources, you'll move it up to the pillage icon, and you can only ever do this once, right? One of the secondary actions you can do is you can purchase. You'll have to stop at a location to do this. You can't just purchase cargo from some geezer stuck in the middle of the desert, right? And you'll look at what they are selling and you'll pay the cost. You'll replace that resource tile with one from the supply, right? Likewise, you could sell cargo. You'll see that there's a demand token, and you'll look at the price wheel and you'll get that amount of money. Depending on how many demand tokens on the board, the price will fluctuate. It'll either go up or go down. So you've got to be mindful of that when you're selling stuff, because you don't want to buy stuff that's really expensive and sell it cheap there. It's a free market capitalist system after all. And the next thing you could do is you can activate an outpost. You'll be able to take the action that's listed on the outpost. You might be able to go to the mod shop where you can buy stuff to outfit your truck. You might be able to get a radiation counter. That means you don't have to roll the radiation die. You might be able to buy a sleeping bag. You can get an extra ally. You can have as many allies as you can fit in your truck. These will give you permanent benefits until you decide to boot them out, because they're really annoying. So you might want to ally yourself with Butch, and he gives you plus $2 on food deliveries. You might want to hang out with a grease monkey, and he gives you minus $2 on mod shop visits. You might want to have a quick powwow with the creep, and this absurd looking individual will give you plus 1 reroll on rad checks, right? What I tell you about turning into that geezer out of Robocop. Final action is the bonus action. You won't be moving a token to the space, but you won't be able to do anything else either. The cards and the game will actually specify when you can take the bonus action, and usually it's to do with completing contracts and whatever. So you'll keep doing this, you'll keep moving around the wasteland, you'll keep buying and selling stuff, you'll keep trying to beat people up, you'll keep trying to mess with your opponent's plans, and the first player to complete 3 primary contracts will be the winner of Wasteland Express Delivery Service. So what do we like about Wasteland Express Delivery Service? So the first thing that we really like about this game is the theme, right? We love the old Mad Max theme. I'm a little bit obsessed with anything to do with post-apocalyptic scenarios, right? And this plays right into my hands. It's a light-hearted look at what things could be like after the apocalypse. It's not like watching Threads for the 5th time, wondering if you're going to be scared out of your wits again. This is a comic book representation of death and despair, right? So there should be more Mad Max style post-apocalyptic games in this vein. They've done really well with the artwork. It's sort of like sketch-based stuff, and the theme comes across really, really strongly. So the second thing that we really like about this game is the insert, and the components are absolutely top notch, right? The insert is mind blowing, right? Why don't all games have this level of quality in their inserts, right? Okay, the teardown is a bit of a pain in the ass when you are putting everything back into its proper position, but this in turn makes the game easier to set up because you're just going to be pulling out the different trays, lobbing them on the table, and there you go. Further to this, the component quality is absolutely top notch. Card stock is super duper. The truck miniatures are very, very detailed. They've gone to town with the different characters on the Enclave cards and in the Raider truck cards. All this comes together to make this game highly thematic and beautiful to look at. So the final thing that we really like about this is that the movement mechanism is really quite novel. The idea of gaining momentum as you're powering your way through the atomic wasteland and choosing not to stop means that you go faster is really, really exciting. Also, if you do choose to stop, then you're going to get a bonus action for doing that, right? I could have just implemented a system where you move, take an action, move, take an action, move, take an action, but there's something quite satisfying about bombing through the wasteland at breakneck speed, trying to reach that resource before your opponent does. So what don't we like about the Wasteland Express Delivery Service? So the first thing that we don't like about this is combat is shit. It's just a case of rolling some dice, adding some stuff to it, and hoping that you get higher than a number listed on a card. And the fact you don't know what that number is going to be adds to the nonsensical nature of the combat. You're in the dark until you pull that card out, so it's very, very risky to go down that route of attacking these raiders. It could make or break the game for you. It's too random, it's too stupid, and it sucks. So the second thing that we don't like about this game is that it is so frustrating. The fact that the resources are constantly in a state of flux, they're constantly moving around. As soon as somebody goes to a location and fulfills a demand, it's going to change. So you might be on your way there, and by the time you get there, it's gone. You're going to have to trudge across the map, go to another spot. That may be gone before you get there as well. Or it might be the case that the resources that you've been saving up for aren't on the map at all. So it's impossible to plan your route across a map. It's impossible to plan a strategy for this game. And it basically boils down to just hit and hope. So the third thing that we don't like about this game is that the movement of the Raider trucks around the board means that there could be a kingmaker in your midst. It might be the case that a player may not be able to complete any of the contracts and might have given up on that. They see their primary job as disrupting the plans of the other players. So if you just missed out on a resource over here and you're traveling over there and someone sticks a couple of trucks in your way and does damage to your cargo holds, that means that you can't carry any resources until you go back to the depot, but you've got no money, right? So then you're going to have to go to that space to get free money, go back to the depot, then go back to the resources, and then that player sticks a truck in your way and you get done over again. So the fact that there is this push me, pull you aspect to this game, it's making my blood boil just talking about it. So the final thing that we don't like about this game is that there's no set rounds. The game ends when you complete 3 contracts, and as such, this game could just go on and 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 on, and invariably it does. Like we played this the other day, I completed 2 contracts. There was literally no chance of me completing the third one. There was literally no chance of my son completing any of them. He was the rogue player that was sending all the trucks out to do me over. And I think this game would have gone on for another 2 or more hours trying to complete that wretched final contract, right? So the fact that there is no set end game means that that level of frustration could theoretically go on forever. So to summarise, is Wasteland Express Delivery Service still worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we're going to say no, I fucking hate this game. It's a highly thematic but deeply flawed pick up and deliver disaster. This is one of the worst games I've played since I burnt Dominant Feces in a fit of rage. The frustrating nature of the resource placement, coupled with the random nature of the combat, coupled with the prospect of a rogue element running around the map more interested in disrupting your plans than fulfilling their own contracts, make this a rabid exercise in futility that could result in serious damage to your mental state. So I would advise you to stay well away from this incendiary game, and this will shortly be joining Dominant Feces in the graveyard of the worst games ever made. So there you go. That is the Wasteland Express Delivery Service. Remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel here. Leave a comment down below, hit the like button, all that YouTube bullshit. See you next time.